Schmoes Know presents HorrorFlix, a podcast covering all things horror, suspense, and psychological thrillers in the world of cinema. And now, here are your hosts, Cobbster and Cody.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Who's this?
What do you mean, who's this? You called me.
You called me.
I did not call you. You clearly called me and I answered.
Just tell me your name, and I'll tell you who were mine.
Okay, I'm Cody.
Hi, Cody.
Who are
What's
you?
your favorite scary movie?
I'm actually not a big scary movie guy. I'm more of a musical man myself.
What?
Yeah, I'm not really.
You like singing and dancing?
Yeah, like you ever seen Mamma Mia?
No. What?
No, the Meryl Streep one? The adaptation of the play?
No.
It's beautiful.
I-
Amanda Seyfried, Pierce Brosnan, James Bond sings and dances in it. It's incredible.
Do you like to be scared?
No, why would
Just tell me what movie you like, and I'll cut you like a fish.
Jesus, this is a little much.
I don't know. That was just something. What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of HorrorFlix. I'm
Hey.
Cobbster,
I'm Cody.
and if
I don't like Mamma Mia. By the way.
I really hope you don't,
I
because
don't.
that was just horrible.
Yeah.
If I was a killer, I would probably kill myself if I heard those
Just
answers.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
If I was in the Scream universe.
He's like, fuck it.
Yeah,
Just
like,
hangs
fuck
up.
it. Yeah.
Not worth it.
But yeah, so we are talking about Scream today, the
Who would've
Scream
thought?
franchise. This is going to be, we're going to do this more often where we're just going to sit down and talk about franchises. I mean, if we talk about like Friday the 13th, we probably have to do parts because that's a long
gonna be a long
franchise.
one.
But we are going to be talking about Scream because the only news story we're going to be talking about is the Scream TV series trailer was released.
That dropped, yeah.
We're going to talk about that for just a brief minute, and then we're going to go over Scream 1 through 4 and tell you why we love them, and if there's one we don't like, then we'll talk about that as
And
well.
you guys are going to tell us why you love them, and if there's ones you don't like, because we're going to be reading your tweets, your Facebook comments, all that
Yeah.
fun stuff. We're going to get you guys involved.
And you know what? These
What?
guys, I had no idea. Like, I love this franchise. I really
Me too.
do. It is a lot of fun.
It's one of my favorites.
And I had no idea so many people loved it as
Me
much
too.
as we
Like
did.
this is like, because before every episode, we were like, okay, guys, leave your answers below.
Yeah.
And this was one that like exploded,
Yeah,
the most
a
so
lot.
far. And I
Mhm.
was like, my God, I didn't realize these people, loved it as much as us. It's
Twitter
really
blew
cool.
up. Our Facebook page, there was a ton. So we're going to read off your guys' questions.
As many as we
or
can.
comments, I mean. And also, we did a little something different and interesting.
What are we
Having like a little Blu-ray giveaway.
Yes, we did.
I was feeling generous this week. It came out of my own pocket. We're gonna announce the winner of that. If you follow us on Facebook, we're gonna announce the winner at the end of this show and give more details on
Should
that.
we announce
But
what we're giving away?
Yeah,
You just said what you were giving away a Blu-ray.
we are giving away a special edition of the Babadook
Ooh.
on Blu-ray.
You say
It's-
Babadook, you don't say Babadook?
I say it both ways. Australians, like I've heard Alicia say Babadook.
Mm-hmm. That's generally the way
yeah,
I go.
like, and then even in the commentary and stuff, they're like the Babadook.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so I mean, it's perspective. You know,
Okay.
tomato, tomato.
Doesn't matter. It's
yeah.
spelled the same way.
Tits, tights, it's the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be giving away who won that at the end of this. So you're gonna have to listen to the whole show, man. You know
Yeah,
what I
sorry.
mean? So
They could always fast forward.
just
Anyway,
live her alone.
nice. I see what
Yes,
you did there.
Yeah, that had no context. I just wanted to say that.
Mhm.
But we're gonna be talking about that. So yeah, lucky winner will win that. Details very soon. So let's jump into this TV series teaser. First of all, what are your impressions of Scream as a TV series? What do you think about that in
I
general?
thought it was a really dumb idea. I didn't
Yeah.
think it would work at all.
Mhm.
Then I watched the trailer. I'm a little bit convinced it can work, but not as far as like maybe a pilot or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I can't see it working as a full series.
like maybe a mini series.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, why not just do Scream 5?
That's true.
You know,
Well, no one would go to see it after the box office for Scream 4.
Scream
unfortunately.
4. Scream 4 didn't do too well.
It did not do that well.
Oh,
no.
okay. Well, we'll
it
talk
didn't even
about
open number 1. I don't think.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! Oh, in comparison to the other 3, the other
Yeah.
3s were monsters. But yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I guess I would like for it to work. MTV seems to be doing good with like Teen Wolf and they do that. They do actually
They do a
pretty
show called Awkward. They do a bunch of like.
well. Yeah, like their shows are popular. I don't watch them, but a
I
lot
don't
of people
either.
do.
Yeah.
Like Teen Wolf, give me a break. The only Teen Wolf is Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Okay, which I believe Bobby Finstock was originated from that.
Yeah,
because it's
he
a
was.
name, a character. It's like the coach, or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, I just the trailer looks like Scream, except no Ghostface.
There's no ghost face. There's one that they kind of like allude to it. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a mask who they kind of make it look like, or if
Mm.
it's just the dude's face.
Well,
But it's not the standard look. It's different. But I could see them like pulling a Daredevil route, and like as the show goes on,
Mm.
maybe they can introduce the mask.
It
but I don't know.
almost seems like, I mean, the show seems very continuous, where it's just like there's one killer maybe throughout the whole season. They try to the big spoiler or the big surprise is at the end, but it almost seems like Freddy's Nightmares, which is like a TV show where Robert Englund would host it, and it would just be these different kind of Twilight Zone episodes of just random people in shitty situations.
I'm curious if they're gonna have it in the Scream universe or if it's just a random town, or if they're gonna allude to the events of the films.
And the guy who does the voice, it's like Roger something. I'm trying to think of it. Of Ghostface
really?
isn't in the cast or anything.
Oh,
like
he's not
that either.
Oh, that's just
so I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll check out the first episode depending on.
We'll watch the pilot
on depending on just how it is. I guess that's when we'll make our judgments. But let us know. Tweet at us. What do you guys think about this TV series for Scream? Is it a good idea? Is it not? Should they just blow it up? What do you guys think?
What do you think?
What do you think? So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else in news. I'm sure there's something out there, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But let's dive into these movies.
Let's do it.
Let's dive into it.
Let's dive into one of my favorite franchises.
First of all,
of all time.
First of all, how were you first introduced to this series?
Okay.
Did you see the very first one?
And then remember, I didn't see any of them until maybe like the year 2000. I think when Scream 3 came out was when I started looking into the actual movies.
Okay, yeah, because that came out in 2000, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say I still saw Scream 1 first, and
Okay.
then I moved to Scream 3, and then I saw Scream 2, and then 4.
See, I'm the opposite. I saw Scream 2 first.
Oh, I thought you were
before
going to say
anything.
4, and I was like, what?
Oh no, come on, man.
Sorry.
No, because when I was a kid, I was horrified of horror movies. Like I couldn't.
Yeah, me too.
The first horror movie I ever remember seeing and get me into this world is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Okay.
Freddy's Revenge, which is considered to be the gayest horror film of all time.
It still scared you.
No, but see, that's the thing though. Like, and it kind of ties into the whole Scream franchise as well, because Freddy's Revenge was kind of the first horror film not only did I see, but made me realize that not all horror has to be scary. That like
it
horror,
can be fun.
Yeah,
You
it
can
can
have a
be
good time.
totally fun. And so after seeing that, I started watching more and more. And one of the earliest ones I remember seeing was Scream 2. And so once I got into that universe, I went back, I watched Scream 1, and I fell in love. And then Scream 3, and then obviously we got 2011 was Scream 4. So that's just kind of my chronological order.
It's better than mine, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
No, I mean, it's not better or worse. It's whatever.
Whatever. But I love the first Scream. It is one of my probably top 5 favorite movies of all time. It's a movie. Yeah,
I would definitely say as a horror film, the top 10 maybe. I do love the movie. To rank it up there so high. Yeah.
To me, dude, it's one of the movies that got me into movies. I'm sorry. It's
No.
made for us. It's made for film fans. Dude.
It really
it's
is
great.
And especially with certain characters, you really get into that. Because this is a horror film that not only it broke new grounds, because a lot of horror movies by this age, we think horror films are dead now. Like back then, they were really starting to die.
They were,
franchises just were falling.
They had
out
terminal
left and right.
cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one basically rejuvenated the horror franchise and just set a new standard of what people can do when it comes to horror films.
Totally got that. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading a Facebook comment.
Oh, well, what
Give me
does
a
it
second.
say?
I've just got one from Tyler Myers here. It says, Scream is my all-time favorite horror franchise. Attaboy, Tyler. Join
Yes.
my side here. The first one is so inventive and is one of my favorite films of all time. And while the sequels aren't quite as good, I still enjoy watching them, even the third one, which is the weakest out of them all.
Yes, very true.
He says a bunch more. We'll get to that later.
Oh, okay.
Because it goes into
he's
plot.
got- he got
It
some
goes
more.
into plot details.
Okay,
I
so
don't wanna
let's get it. By the way, the guy who voiced the Ghostface was Roger L. Jackson. Roger Laban Jackson.
Okay,
Roger
gotcha.
Roger Jackson. Roger L. Jackson.
Roger
Whatever.
Jackson. Roger.
RLJ.
Okay.
Good old RLJ.
Okay.
So basically,
Let's warn people that if you haven't seen these
Oh, yes.
movies, we are going to get into detail.
we are gonna spoil
Every single one of
the
them. We're gonna spoil them.
shit
Yeah.
out of this.
So let's do this. Get into the 1st
let's
one.
get into it. So basically, we got the first plot for the Scream movie. It's centered around a teenager who seems like she has a really dark path, or dark past rather, and basically there's a serial killer on the loose, killing these kids one by
It's just
one.
no supernatural powers.
No.
He's just a crazy guy with a knife.
Just crazy guy with a knife, and it's starting to bring back all these haunting memories for young Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell, and it's haunting her because it's like it's getting close to the 1-year anniversary of her mother's brutal death, who was raped and murdered by assumably by Cotton Weary, played by Liv Schreiber. Is that how you say his last name?
I think it's Schreiber.
Schreiber.
Schreiber
I
or
always got that
Schreiber?
confused.
I don't know.
And so Cindy plays the quintessential, what is called like the last surviving girl in a horror film, as all of her friends are getting picked off one by one. And the way this movie opens up hands down.
Brilliant.
Incredible. Just
Brilliant.
Because at the time Drew Barrymore was such a big star,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe for us we're like, oh, it's the little girl from E.T. You know, that's cool. And a lot of people thought she was gonna be the main character, and then boom, hanging by the tree with her mom screaming her ass off.
Imagine if this movie was made today, but Scarlett Johansson was the top billed
Oh,
actress
stop
on
it.
there.
Stop it. I'd
and
walk
like
out
she
the
was killed
theater.
off in the first scene. You know?
That-
that was the impact back in 95 or whenever this was made.
96.
Anyway.
Yeah, 96 and then
Okay.
Scream 2, 97.
Okay.
DC Bowling on Twitter says favorite moment is the opening in the first one with Drew Barrymore, one of the best openings in a horror film. Definitely. Because it's out of left field. You think maybe she'll get away with it or she'll run away. It's so ballsy to kill off someone. And it's like that psycho factor as well, where you put in a big star and you kill her off at the very beginning. It's a brilliant move on their part, and it just
Very
throws you off
reminiscent
for a
of
loop.
Psycho back in the day. They did that.
That's what I just said.
Did you?
Were you not listening?
I was reading more comments. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to
Okay.
scroll through
All
here.
right.
I'm sorry.
Well, live her alone.
Live her alone.
Said so brilliantly by Sean Doherty on Twitter. Same here. Sam Martin _96. Opening scene of each film and the reveal of the characters they never
That is
seen.
true,
Like
yeah.
motives was far-fetched.
Every movie has a great opening scene.
It does, yeah. Except
Don't say the fourth. Fourth one was great.
Oh
The
no.
opening scene of
I
four
love
was
I love
fantastic.
the opening.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
But I would say if I were to rank like the weakest one for me, it was probably, I don't know. I guess the third
Three?
one.
Yeah, I was
but
thinking that
it's still shocking because of who the character is killed.
Mhm.
Because they always have to have some kind of shocking death, whether it be a big celebrity like Jada Pinkett Smith or Drew Barrymore, or even all the fucking people that were killed in the opening of Scream 4. But yeah, so and then not only are you getting a really great story and a great script written by Kevin Williamson. There you go. Thank you.
I got this.
Yeah, you're the writer. You should know this. It's just the characters are so interesting because they're not necessarily your typical, like they are and they aren't your typical characters.
Mm-hmm.
They have like the traits of typical characters, but they don't
But they're
act
like
on them.
they're aware that they are. So
Yes.
it's like they play back on it
Because
and
this
play back to the
movie
audience.
is so self-aware. In
Yeah.
fact, that Bob Weinstein had to really fight for this movie to be approved by Dimension,
Mhm.
and he convinced them that this movie was a comedy, not even a horror film, which is so funny. And it's true. This movie is a satire. It
Yeah.
really is.
Let's bring up the best character of all,
Yes,
Mr. Randy,
Randy,
played by the great. I don't want to say great.
Great.
Jamie Kennedy.
If there is anything good that this man has done,
It's
there's
Scream.
two things. It is the Scream franchise is Randy, and Malibu's
I was
going
gonna say you better say Malibu.
Malibu. It's a guilty pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure.
There's a Dreamcast and there's a GameCube. Which one? Anyway, let's move on. That's for another show.
Definitely though, because he is the voice of reason. He is us.
He's us. That's what I was
the
gonna say.
nerds.
He's the audience.
Yes, not just for horror fans, but for movie fans in general, and just the kind of the quintessential nerd of the group. And he really was the great voice of reason in the whole film, and especially the scene towards the end when he's explaining the rules about everything that's
Every
going
horror
on,
movie.
every
Yeah.
horror movie, and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And he bases it off of horror films that we all love and adore.
Mhm.
You know, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street.
He brings up the stuff like, don't ever have sex or don't ever say you're
Yes.
going to be back. And then immediately after that, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo goes, I'll be right back.
Yeah,
And-
I'll be back.
yeah.
I love Matthew Lillard.
We'll get
in
into
this
his
film, too.
character in a
Yes.
second because he
We will.
literally is like my favorite character in this entire franchise.
He is.
Only one
He's
movie,
incredible.
but he's fantastic.
We'll get
I
to
love
him
it.
when we get to Ski Ulrich as well. But Odran, I'm going to butcher this. Odran Roche on Twitter says, when Randy discusses the rules of horror films and when Ghostface is walking behind him, I also love the delay in the feed. Randy is my favorite character as he is a movie buff just like me. I wish he didn't die. Unfortunately, we'll get into that.
We talk about the comedy of this franchise, but it's not just a comedy. There's
No,
still terrifying moments in this thing. The delay on the feed thing is brilliant. because
It is.
You
It's-
know what's going to happen. These characters know what's going to happen, but they cannot stop it all when they're in the van watching it.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
and
first
cameraman
two
dies.
are hands down the more horror of the four.
Yeah.
Because 3 and 4 started to take themselves less serious, which, even to a certain extent, the first two don't really take themselves too serious either. But there are some very like nail biting moments in the first two, like the delay in the feed, and then I love the scene when she's hiding in the car and he dangles
Yes.
the keys right in front of him. Just
And she has to go and keep
creepy.
like locking each one
Yeah.
that he unlocks. Oh,
I
it's
thought
incredible.
I thought that's really, really great. Let's see. Yeah, Stacey Howard on Twitter, good old Stacey Howard, explaining the rules of horror movies. I heart emoji, the little heart emoji, that they were acknowledging the true fans of the genre. Very, very true. Well said. Yes.
Nice. Good job, Stacy.
Good job, Stephen.
Should we get into the reveal of who the actual killer is in this one?
Yes, let's do it.
Because
one
of my favorite things about these movies is just the twist at the end when you realize who the
because you
killer
never
is.
know, you never
Almost
expect.
every time, it's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this movie does a lot of really great red herrings where they make you, maybe it's Cotton Weary, maybe he got away. There's no news on him. Like you literally you literally see him for a brief scene, so you don't really think much of it. But then towards the end, maybe you're like, hey, maybe it's him. Maybe it's the dad. The killer turns out to be
not only one person, but
two people.
Billy and Stu.
Billy Loomis.
What?
It almost feels like a Darth Vader thing. Like when I first watched Star Wars, like I knew Darth Vader was Luke's father because it's like that cultural thing. Like everyone, like you're fucking like today. Kids are born knowing that Vader is Luke's father.
Did you know Scream
yeah,
was... Oh,
I knew,
no,
I
really?
knew that
I
these
didn't
guys
know
were
that.
the killer the whole time, so I was just kind of seeing how it was built up. I don't remember how it was like spoiled to me, but I just knew for some reason.
Did you watch Scary Movie first? Is that what it was?
Probably. To be honest with you, and fun fact, this movie was originally supposed to be called Scary Movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, the killers end up being Billy and Stu, and those two, like, especially Ski Ulrich, just like a great set of different emotions going on.
You didn't see that coming. I mean, early on, he looks like he's being framed to be the killer. And
yes.
Then when you see it actually be revealed, he takes on a completely different personality.
Oh, yeah.
You think,
Corn syrup.
Randy's like the big movie geek
same
or whatever.
material they used in Carrie.
Yeah, they don't really allude to how much of a movie fan he is until
No.
the end, and then you realize, like, oh my god.
If anything, the one that makes it more obvious would be Stu because his character is so zany.
Yeah.
And it's zany so perfectly. Like, just Matthew Lillard is hysterical in this movie. The line where he's like, "Don't hit me in the head with the phone, dick!" Which ad-libbed, by the way, of course.
Was it?
Yeah, because I think he actually really hit him.
I like when he's like, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
And it's just adding that level of comedy to this
Yeah.
really serious situation. And their back and forth between each other is really great too. Especially the scene where Billy the scene where Billy reveals why he's doing everything.
Sorry, go ahead.
Billy.
Billy. Sorry.
The scene. Why? What is that from?
I think it's from The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider.
Billy.
Remember
Oh
that?
yeah.
Billy.
Billy.
Anyway, go on. It's a terrible movie, but I should know that.
No, what you son of a bitch! You losing
Sorry,
my
I totally
train of
lost
thought.
train of thought.
Oh
I
no,
apologize.
it's the look in Billy's fit. Fucking
Billy. You're not cutting this.
I keep thinking of Tommy Boy when he rips the jacket. He's like, what's his name? Is it Billy as well?
I don't think so. Hold on.
He's like, Billy. I don't know. I'm losing my fucking
This
mind
show
right
is off
now.
the rails
God
now.
damn it. Okay.
So Billy and Stu.
The
And it was Stu.
Stu. Oh my god. I got the giggles. Fucking Stu's face, god damn it.
Okay.
Stu's face when Billy tells him why he's doing all these things basically, and it's because of the mother. He was cheating. Fucking bitch. I try to catch it back. I'm trying to get it back, and this
I had it.
motherfucker's
Okay.
laughing.
Okay.
So
That's actually a very good moment.
Yes, it really is
Yeah.
because it kind of catches you for a loop, and it also catches Stu for a loop as well because he's like, you look in his face, he's just like, whoa.
You think Stu's just crazy.
Yeah,
he's
Stu's
just in
just
the movies,
batshit
he's
crazy.
just going killing people, but Billy actually has a legit
Yes.
freaking reason. He has a grudge against Sydney.
Cindy's mom was sleeping with Billy's dad and leaving, forcing Billy's mom to leave them, and so he goes into this psychotic depression or whatever it is. It's a great little twist, and for most people, I'm sure didn't see it coming because you think he dies right beforehand, and then when he comes back, it's just like corn syrup, so
Brilliant. The fact that there's two killers too.
Yeah, it totally.
You always think of just one guy. Nope, there's two.
Two of them.
Brilliant.
And I love the whole practicality of that whole scene of just they're just drenched in blood. Every single main character.
Yeah.
So
Sydney's hair is just like practically soaked
just
in blood.
messed up, and then when she fights back at him, it's really great moments. And then obviously killing both Stu and Billy towards the end, just great. The TV one was a little unbelievable for me.
But she does the TV on his head. In your dreams.
I kind of had a thing for you, Sid. So good.
I always had a thing for you.
And then, of course, the quintessential, they always give one last scare before you kill him, and they shoots him in the head. That's the only thing.
I love
That's the only thing I
movie.
didn't like about every single one, because it's every single
They do the
one.
comeback.
They do the, and then and he shoots him. It's just, I get it. It's just, I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of that.
Fair enough. Shall we get into the sequel?
Shall we get in the sequel?
Because these days, baby, you gotta have a sequel.
All right. Miss Movies had a great quote. Let's face it, Sid. Your mother's no Sharon Stone.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one. I'm trying to find all these lines. Chris Evans on Twitter, not the Chris Evans, but
He's a fan of the program.
He's a fan of the program. Without a doubt, Randing telling them the rules, which led to this great one-liner. I'll be right back. All the great death scenes from gosh, what's her name? What's the hot chick's name? The blonde. In the movie. Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
Her death scene in the garage. The supposedly death scene of Dewey, who is a really quirky and fun character. Courtney Cox almost seeming like she's dying too. I love this. One more line. I love it's when he's like, I thought you said she was dead. He's like, I thought she was. She's like, still does. I thought that was great,
One more quick thing from James Joseph Lister on Facebook says, the twist in the original is easily one of my favorite twists in cinema history. Right there with you, buddy. The whole concept of the original is just so, original, and more importantly, manages to make a movie about a situation that will never happen to most of us, something that we, as the audience, can relate to. Also, the opening with Drew Barrymore is genius.
Yeah. Also, I mean, they are kids. They're adults playing kids, but it's very realistic in that sense because they're treating the situation of this killer. It's like it's not that they're scared, but they're almost excited. They're like, oh my god, there's finally something exciting happening in this town. And the way I think Wes Craven and the writer they work together with the actors, it all works so brilliantly, and it will definitely hands down go down as one of the greatest horror films of all time.
Damn right it will.
Yes. Ashley Ash27 on Twitter says, "Oh my gosh, the Rose McGowan garage death scene was great." So yeah, had to bring that one. I'm trying to see if anyone.
You ever tried to crawl through a doggy door?
No,
I have.
Yeah.
Every time I do.
Oh yeah, you could probably.
I could do it, man. I'm 15 pounds.
Yeah,
but
you eat like pepper and salt for lunch.
I occasionally have paprika.
Okay,
but
that works too.
Anyway,
someone sent us an awesome ghost face, which by the way. Talk about every fucking Halloween ever since that movie comes out.
I was him like 3 times.
Were you? That pisses me off because I was never Ghostface, not
really?
once. And then the dudes came in with the blood.
I had the bloody one too.
You squirt the little thing and it squeezed. I was never Ghostface.
Scared the shit out of little kids coming to my house with that thing.
I was always pissed off of that. I always hated everyone because there'd be like 7 screams and then like I was always Spider-Man. I was like Spider-Man like 5
you
years
weren't
in a
even
row.
scary.
No, not at all.
Anyway.
I was afraid. I was a little kid.
I was Freddy Krueger one year. I was.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Okay.
Billy. Let's move on. Let's move on to Scream 2.
Scream number 2. So Sydney goes off to college and thinks, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Don't you know there's another killer on the loose?
There is another killer, possibly even 2 killers
Yep.
on the loose. And we get most of the returning characters, obviously the ones that survived. And, this was the first one that I did see, and I love the sequel. I really, really love the sequel.
Good. There are moments that I really don't like, which I'll get into shortly.
Okay, yeah. I know where you're going to go.
A lot of people brought up the thing that I'm going to talk
about. The big
about.
one. We'll talk about the big one, too, which I'm actually a fan of.
Okay.
But yes, maybe it's because I did see this one first before the original Scream that I hold it near and dear to my heart. But there are some genuinely really creepy moments in this film. Obviously, the big scene was always creepy to me, but also it introduced this idea of a film within a film that I think is hysterical.
Yeah,
because it did what the first movie did. Obviously, not as good, but it elevated it to a certain extent and it evolved it by using the concept of a sequel and changing the rules a little bit. And Randy, who plays a very quintessential role in this one as well, brings that up in a great scene with Joshua Jackson and Sarah Michelle Gellar, where they're talking about sequels.
Joshua Jackson is in this,
yeah. I was a little bummed that he's actually not in the rest of the movie because he's been in a ton of horror films before, but he just kind of has like his little cameo in it, which is really nice. But yeah, that I love that scene where they're talking about Terminator, Aliens, Godfather. So good.
Oh, it's always better. Yeah. Let's get it. Okay, I just got to talk about this. The Randy death
You want to
scene,
get
man.
into it
Let's
already?
just talk about it because a lot of people have brought this up, actually.
I'm sure a lot of people aren't fans of it.
You actually like this scene, though.
I do, because, and here's what convinced me, is watching a couple documentaries on the Scream franchise. Okay. It is so ballsy to do something like this to such a favorite character. Like, I love that. I love that they took a risk like that, and it was almost like cherishing the character to a certain extent. I think, obviously the reason why they did it was probably for just pure shock value, just to get people talking. Because I'm sure people left the theater when this happened because he's such a popular character. But, I mean, I love it. I mean, and plus the death scene is fucking
I will admit,
brutal.
Like, the actual writing of the scene is great.
Yeah,
I just
you
don't
read
like
the
the
passage?
What was that?
Oh, I see what you mean.
No, I mean
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
actual like script and like the dialogue and everything there, the way it's done is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Don't like the fact that he died, but I'll applaud them for doing a good job with it.
Yes, and plus it was almost like it was right there. It was his chance to battle against this nature of evil, and he essentially he doesn't essentially he does lose because he fucking dies, but he pisses the killer off essentially.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I remember that image of his body just laying there covered in blood. Fucking scarred me. And just the stabbings, just artery after artery, just stabbing away. Yeah.
Michael Hill says his death scene in Scream 2 is one of my favorite moments. As sad as it was to see one of the series' best characters die, you gotta admit that it was shocking that he died. No one expected that.
It totally was. Yeah,
Yep.
it was
Bravo.
a very shocking death, and it pissed a lot of people off. But it happened, and he shows up in the third one as kind of a cop out. But
Yeah, maybe that's why I
wasn't-
don't like it as much because he showed back up in the third one.
Yeah.
like kind of. I know he's.
Kind-
I know
yeah.
he's not alive in the
that
third
one was
but I'm
that
just
one
saying.
was fan service for sure.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, definitely. And not only that, but you also get a slate of new characters. A brand new opening scene that kills Omar Epps. Is Omar
Yep,
Epps?
that's Omar Epps
Epps
and
and
Jada
Jada
Pinkett.
Pinkett Smith.
Yep.
Which I can't help but watch that scene.
That's
and
the
think
movie
of-
theater one, right?
Yeah, but I can't help but think of Scary Movie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up,
not
yeah.
only just with Scream 2, but with the Scream franchise in general. And just when everyone just starts stabbing, what's her name in the theater, it's hysterical. But at the same time, the scene was never really creepy for me, but it's the thought like, fuck, like there's no escaping it because everyone thinks it's just a fun time at the movie theaters, but it's someone's death. But when they're actually watching stab, like kind of throughout the movie, is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so funny. You got Heather Graham in there playing Nev Campbell, and then
Dude, I haven't seen this in a while, so I forgot that was Heather Graham. Forgot so many
Luke
people.
Wilson plays Billy. And it's so funny because they do the scene from Scream 1 where they're talking to each other, and when he's like stupid, but the way Luke Wilson does, he's like he just does this.
Yeah.
He like smacks the shit out of his head, and then Tori Spelling plays. Tori Spelling plays Sydney, while Heather Graham plays Drew Barrymore's character.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I love that idea of them actually making it into a movie. And then the one thing that I guess I didn't like about Scream 2 is, or maybe even the whole franchise in general, is Gail Weathers, because her character,
it's kind of annoying. She's kind of annoying.
not only that, it's like she has the same arc in every single movie.
Yeah,
she
it's
starts
true.
off as a bitch, like upbeat kind of reporter, and then by the end she has like redemption. Same thing. Second one, same thing over again. She bickers with Cindy back and forth. She's a little bit more redeemable overall in the third movie, but then in the fourth movie it was way over
goes
the top.
back to that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it keeps kind of going back
It's
to
unfortunate.
it. I mean, I love Courtney Cox in these movies, but just that little whole thing of her just really annoys me sometimes.
Another quick scene from Scream 2. Isaiah Belcher on Facebook says, but my favorite scene is in Scream 2 when Dewey and Gale are with Ghostface in the classroom / recording sound booth thing.
Yeah.
Seeing themselves on the TV and Gale trying to guess where Ghostface is and going through the sound booth is just awesome.
Yeah, it's a great scene. I
Just
love
a little
that.
fun little cat and mouse thing.
Yeah,
It's pretty
and
cool.
and another thing is Dewey seems as if he dies again.
Yeah.
Which for me was really scary because I saw this movie for the first time and I was like, oh shit, is he really? I didn't know that they had done this previously before.
Oh,
and then
really?
he survives.
I
And,
love the one in the third one. I'll get that when we get to
Yes.
the third one, obviously. I love this
oh
scene in the third
yeah.
one.
That one's actually
Yeah.
really funny. It's a fun little thing that they do in almost
Yeah.
every single one.
Yeah.
Actually, David Arquette didn't know that he was going to survive the first movie until he actually saw the first entire film at the premiere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they had filmed 2 different scenes of him actually dying.
Oh,
and
he
then
thought the other one was the
yeah,
was a
because
good
he had
ending?
sat there, he looked up and he watched it. And as soon as it was over, Wes Craven went up to him and was like, "You survived." And I was like, "I know." So a really fun little cool tidbit.
Nice.
This guy Nick Rutten, Gumper Schnickel on Twitter says,
Schnickel.
"Can
I
never go
remember him.
wrong with Jamie Kennedy dying. I laughed, I cried, I stood up and applauded."
You want
I
to
don't-
see Jamie Kennedy die?
I wouldn't applaud his death, but
That man is not a fan of Son of the Mask right there.
good one.
He's
Nice.
just not
Very
happy.
nice. Oh, but a great scene in Scream 2, and very, very creepy, is when the 2 officers are taking Sydney and her friend, and the Ghostface attacks them, and they have to climb over Ghostface's unconscious body, which the scene is a little hooky because it's like he comes out of nowhere. He just so happens to come right when they're stopping right there.
That's true.
And he kills the 2 guys. And I love when the the fucking pole goes through the officer's head.
I love
It's
the idea
brutal.
of like going around his unconscious body though. Like,
Yeah,
it's such
no,
a
but
fine line.
it's like, oh
It's
my
so
god. But at the
creepy.
same time, like he's fucking right there. Kill
Yeah.
him, and then he
Oh,
comes
yeah, I see
around
what
and
you
he
mean.
kills her friend.
Yeah.
I just love them actually crawling over the body. And
Mm-hmm.
who brought that up was Ethan Sunks. I'm terrible at pronouncing these names. In
okay.
Scream 2, when Sydney is trapped in the car and has to climb out over Ghostface. #HorrorFlix. Thanks,
All right.
pal.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate that. Timothy Oliphant is awesome.
Really, you like him in this one?
Well, because I love Timothy Oliphant. I think he's such an underrated
I love that.
actor.
You watch Justified?
No, but I want
That show
to.
is so freaking
It's
good,
finishing
dude.
up now, and I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna just finally go back and binge the shit out
It's
of it when
great,
it's on
man. I gotta
Netflix.
tell you, I've been watching that for a long time.
Because I love that dude. He never really catches a break. I loved him in The Crazies, and I loved him in this movie.
I love the Crazies.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that one day. Dylan Esposito says in Scream 2, it had more deaths, plus added to the cast was a young actor named Timothy Oliphant,
Yes.
and that just makes any project better.
Yes, Miss Movies
right there
also
with
says Scream 2, Timothy Oliphant, real teeth or stunt teeth? I honestly don't know. Good call. Great teeth in that movie.
Yeah. Should we get into the twist then? Since we're
Yeah,
talking
we
about
can go.
him?
We can go right into the twist.
He played
So-
Mickey, right? That's
Well,
his character.
Yeah, he plays
yeah,
Mickey,
okay.
and the whole process, the whole thing of this one is that they're all in college,
Mm-hmm.
and her new boyfriend Jerry O'Connell, which I didn't mind. He's fine. He's Jerry O'Connell.
Probably wouldn't happen in real life. But,
no,
you know.
probably not. The
All
fat
right.
kid from Stand by Me.
Yeah.
No, not a chance.
Yeah.
Who else makes
Kangaroo
it?
Jack.
Kangaroo. Jesus
Sorry.
Christ. You're off
on a
today.
roll
You're
today.
fucking off today.
I'm good. I'm doing
Fucking
good today.
Billy
I'm
and
sorry.
Kangaroo Jack.
Billy.
That's what. Jesus Christ. Billy. No, I'm thinking Silence of the Lambs. Is that where that's from? Billy.
Is it?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, well.
Okay, whatever.
If you guys know where that's from, comment below and tell us.
Please.
I'm pretty sure it's from the hot chick. Anyway,
Yeah, it's probably from the Hot Chick, you weirdo.
let's get into the twist of this movie. So
Yes.
Mickey, he wants to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get the news coverage and all that. And then the other killer
Yes.
turns out to be Billy's mom. I was going to say it again.
Billy's mother.
Billy's mother.
Like super over the top. I love the twist that it's Billy's mom because
I
it's
like that a lot.
fucking way out of
Didn't
left
it love
field.
Mickey's
No, because
reveal?
she finds him off of a serial
Yeah.
killer website. It's like, what?
Yeah,
Really?
I know.
They have that? There's only 10 working serial killers in this country. It's really hard to come by. And he just so happens to go to the same fucking college. Whatever.
convenient.
Tuition's expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that too because you don't think about it. You think, oh, like for some reason you think she's kind of dead. And same thing with the dad, but she's not, and she comes back for plain old fashioned revenge.
The Schreiber.
whatever.
Schreiber?
Yeah, the first Wolverine.
If you're
guy.
listening to the show, sir, tell us how to pronounce your last name.
Yes, and come on, please talk
Yeah.
about this movie
do it. We'll talk
and
about
the
Scream
Omen
2 with you.
remake because you're in that too. Yeah, he plays a more quintessential. He plays more of the red herring in this one as well, and because he comes off as very, very creepy. He comes off very much like Billy Loomis in the first movie, and you may think, is he the killer? Who before the actual twist? Who did you think was the killer? Yeah,
You know,
have
I
anyone?
always had Timothy Oliphant in the back of my mind. Maybe
Yeah.
that's because I didn't. That's why I didn't like it so much because I saw it coming. Maybe.
Okay, there is one big indication that he's actually the killer.
Timothy?
It's
Okay.
when Jerry O'Connell is stabbed or his arm is sliced. It's right after Sarah Michelle Gellar's killed, and they're all at the
That's a
frat
great
party.
scene, by the
It
way.
is,
I
yeah.
love the
Their
Michelle
conversation,
Gellar scene. Yeah.
and he just throws her off a bridge,
Oh,
a
that
roof.
was-
It's good.
Yeah.
It was yeah. So Sydney's kind of just sitting there in the hospital waiting for them to clear up, and then Timothy Oliphant sits right next to her and talks to her, and he kind of like makes her. He tries to. It almost seems like he tries to manipulate her into thinking that Jerry O'Connell is the actual killer. So
Yeah.
that was always an indication of mine that kind of
Yeah,
totally
that makes
gave it
sense. Maybe
away.
that's what threw me off too.
Yeah,
Yep. So that's Scream 2.
that is Scream 2.
A lot of people like it. It's got. That's what I said. It's got some great moments,
It does.
great scenes. Not a lot of story points that I necessarily agreed with, but what the heck do I know? Kevin Williamson's a great writer. He knows what he's doing.
He does,
and
and
it's a-
that's
it's a
what
good,
makes
solid movie.
that's what makes the first two feel connected together. Like they're really close together. Scream, the first one came out in '96, second one came out in '97, so it was a really fast paced process. So yeah, Scream 3 comes out in 2000, a couple years after Scream 2. There's a little bit of trouble with this one as far as the movie making process. They had to change writers. Kevin Williamson just wasn't hacking it. I think he was busy with other projects. And so you kind of lose that magic that you got from the first two movies.
It
And
just
they
didn't
hire
feel the same.
and then they hire on Aaron Kruger, which, to his credit, he went on to go and write The Ring, but he also went on to write the Transformers series. So that say what you will about that.
Yeah.
And it just this movie feels off. It really, really feels off from the very opening scene into its conclusion. And
Jay and Silent Bob are in this.
yeah,
too.
I mean, Carrie Fisher's in it. There's some fun cameos.
They're fun, but why are they in it? Like, I don't.
It started because the first two were so good at being subtly satirical that this one was just straight on, almost like a parody film.
Yeah.
And it played on, because what Scream 2 did really great was subtly introduce the movie within a movie where they had Stab. Now in this one they've got Stab. I think they go up to like Stab 3.
Yeah, I believe so.
And they have the full-on cast, which I like that. That's fine. But it was almost like throwing it in your face, like, hey, look at us. You know, we're trying to do something quirky and funny with this famous franchise.
The thing about this one is, look, I talked about Scream 2, how I don't love the movie, but there's still really great moments in that.
Yeah.
I really can't think of that many great moments in Scream 3,
I have some great
unfortunately.
moments in this
I
one.
love the stuff with Randy, the videotape thing.
Yes.
But
well, let's get into the plot real quick.
Okay.
Tell them what the basic plot of this one is.
you do it. Hold on.
Son of a
I don't
bitch.
remember off the top of my head.
So basically, it's years after Scream 2. Sydney is at a college. There is a quintessential character who is killed in the very opening scene, that being Cotton Weary, Liv, whatever his name is, Sabretooth's name. And he's killed at the very start of the film, and they introduce what I do think there are some gems in this movie. They introduce the voice changer, which is something interesting that I actually really enjoyed in this film. And he's killed, and so the investigation is kind of brought up upon this movie set.
Was this the movie with the fax machine thing? Remember? Or the
and the house explodes.
Yeah. Was that
know.
Cotton scene, or was that just?
No,
okay,
it's just
I can't remember.
another actor.
I haven't seen this one. That's what I'm saying. I don't really remember this one that well.
It's the actor who plays Dewey in Stab 3.
Got it.
So, I don't know. Just the death scenes aren't as brutal. It almost feels PG-13. The writing is really not that great. There are some great moments, obviously. Like I mentioned before, the voice changer. One of arguably the scariest scene in this film than any of the other Scream films is the dream sequence with Cindy's mom.
Yeah.
When you actually see the ghost of her mom.
Yeah, with like the sheet and all
that.
that.
It's fucking scary, dude.
I totally
that
forgot
scene
about
always
that. Yeah,
creeps
that's
me
kinda
out
cool, yeah.
because her voice is very low and kind of like I don't know, like creepy. I'm an old lady. I don't know. And then the way the music cues in, I always really, really enjoyed that scene for being extremely creepy. The voice changer. There's some funny laughs. There are some funny laughs because it is more of a comedy than it is an actual scary movie.
At this point, they kind of just.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say they stopped trying to be scary, because that's obviously a ridiculous comment. But I'm saying like they take it less seriously, which is, I guess, true with each horror series. I guess as it goes along, they
start going into space and all these different things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do blame it on the writing, though. I won't necessarily blame it because I mean the acting's fine, it really is. And then also the decisions made on the script, because they started filming this movie when the script isn't finished. I mean, how many times has that happened?
Yeah.
Because they didn't even know the dude who ends up being the killer didn't even know it until halfway through filming, and that's not because it was kept a secret. That's because it was written very last minute. And also, Sydney is hardly in this film because she wasn't going to do it.
I just realized that. Yeah, she's really not really.
She filmed only like 3 weeks in this film, and she has a very small presence. And she, I think the original opening scene was that. I want to say that this was for the third one. It might have been for the second one, but I think the original opening scene was that Sydney and a friend would have been attacked by a fan killer or whatever it was. I want to say it's Scream 2, but and then eventually like her friend gets killed and it brings her back into this world or whatever. But my question for you, the original killer of Scream 3 was going to be who?
I don't know. Cobbster, who is it?
It was supposedly going to be Stu.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. My favorite character.
There was like Matthew Lillard did multiple interviews, confirming this. There was like two options. It was either he survived and he comes back for revenge to kill Sydney for all everything that happened, or that he has like a twin brother.
That would have been
way out of left field. Yeah, way out of left field. But not a lot of people talking about Scream 3, huh?
Yeah, I was looking through the comments too. There really isn't much.
Yeah.
Let's just get into the twist and then so we can get on with this. What do you think about the killer in this one?
It's
the weakest killer of all.
I'll say this: when I watched one of the documentaries on it, Wes Craven was like, "Yeah, why not? His brother, her brother, could have shown up, right?" And he even said, maybe we jumped the gun on this one a little bit.
Yeah, it
doesn't feel planned out. You were talking about Dewey, Doofus's.
Doofy's his fake death scene.
His fake
with
death
the
scene
knife
with the
flying
knife.
at him.
Yeah,
I thought that was
brilliant
back in the day,
too.
when I was a kid watching this, I thought that was the coolest scene ever. It's like,
and
oh,
it just
oh.
the wooden part hits him in the head. I thought
like, that's awesome.
it's like it's so Dewey. It's
That's
so
the only thing I
Dewey
remember
for
from
it.
this
Yeah.
movie. Like really. Honestly.
But yeah, I mean the twist, the death scenes aren't really like you got Parker Posey running around being Parker Posey. Who else is it? The dude from Not Another Teen Movie. I forget the token black guy. He's in the movie too. It just the house explodes just because I hate that
You
the
can't
house
kill 'em
wouldn't
with exploding. No.
The house would not explode. I mean, I get it. It's a movie first of all.
Yeah.
Let alone a horror film, but
Ghostface is supposed to kill people with knives or garage doors.
It makes Ghostface less intimidating,
Yeah.
and then adding Patrick Dempsey in there, which is it's fine, but you don't
actor.
really do much with him.
No.
You know, if the movie feels very very sloppy, and it shows because they were rushing this film, and do you know why how it did box office wise?
I think I'm on the Wikipedia
Did
page
fairly
right now.
well,
I mean,
maybe?
it did better than the fourth one, unfortunately, but because it was billed as like the last chapter.
Yeah.
So the budget was $40 million, and overall worldwide, I think it made 160. So it made money, obviously, but yeah, it looked like for the while that was going to be the end of it. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's. I don't want to say it's absolutely terrible. It's no.
There are worse movies.
I think definitely there
Yeah.
are worse movies. But out of the whole bunch, out of the whole quadrilogy, I would say that this is for sure.
Is that a
the weak
word?
one. Yeah,
Quadrilogy.
quadrilogy.
Okay.
Isn't that what they call the Alien box set? It's like
They call it quadrilogy.
I think it's something quadrilogy.
Quadrilogy.
Quadology. I don't know.
Quadrilogy.
They call it quad something.
If you
Quad
know what
sport.
they call that, comment below.
Comment and tell us what you think, and then slap Billy across the head.
Let's go on to Scream 4.
Oh, Billy.
Billy.
I do love that Carrie Fisher is just like, I was originally supposed to go up for the role for Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a Star Wars fan. That's
good
it.
job.
But yeah, let's move on and away
Let's
from
fast
it.
forward 11 years.
Let's get into. Oh, Lance Henriksen was in Scream 3, by the way, too, which was nice.
Let's fast forward 11 years.
Horror icon.
Okay, sorry.
Pumpkinhead. Bet you've never seen Pumpkinhead. Huh?
I have not seen Pumpkinhead.
that's awesome.
Actually. Yeah, it's good.
The first one is. So yes, let's go into Scream 4. This one
Scream number
comes
4.
Over a decade later,
Mhm.
and just when we thought Scream was just done and dead, they revitalize it. They bring it back. Is it necessary? No. Is the movie fun? Yes.
Yes.
Very much
It's
fun.
not really good, I would say.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily.
It's kind of
good
like
either.
a guilty pleasure for me.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of fun every time I watch it.
It's so much fun, and I remember sitting in the theater just as a fan of the series and sitting back and just laughing at everything that's going on because it's like this is fucking brilliant. Like, of course we're not going to take this shit serious anymore because it brings up the notion of remakes and reboots and basically what the first Scream did.
Yeah.
It did it for this one and this.
It was
Generation.
perfect for that time. Yeah.
It really, really was. And then you introduce a whole new hot, brand new cast in there as well. You bring in some of the old characters. Yeah.
I like it.
I do too. From the
it
opening
goes a little
scene.
bit on the. I mean, Kevin Williamson came back to write this one the first
He did,
draft,
yes.
at least. I know he got rewritten, I think, by Kruger again, but the elements of his first two movies are in this one, especially the message of the movie, which we'll get into in a second.
It does very much feel actually like a Scream movie, not someone trying to emulate a Scream movie.
Yeah, this one probably feels more like a comedy than it is scary. I mean, you got Anthony Anderson getting stabbed in the head
and saying "fuck you,
Bruce Willis" or whatever.
Yeah.
But I really like this one. I don't love the twist. We'll get into it in a second.
Well,
but I liked it. I liked what it represented.
I'll get into that as well.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts as well because we're giving our thoughts. Clearly, dummy.
Oh, got it. Anyway.
I do love the fact that we have new pairs of Randys. There's two new Randy-like characters that are huge horror fans, and they're kind of keeping this franchise alive. Well, firstly, the way this movie opens up is what you think is the typical Scream opening of someone getting killed, and it turns out that two girls are watching a movie that is a movie within a movie, and so it kind of goes the extra mile. But it's a fun little wink to the original movies, and then also it's a great sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And they kill off some pretty fine-looking young ladies. A young
Bell.
Darcy from Degrassi, Kristen Bell, and a Paquin, and a Pac-Man.
Okay, never mind.
Rogue.
You can't pronounce Liev Schreiber. Anyway.
Liev Schreiber? That's how you were saying it?
Yeah.
I said Liv Schreiber.
Liv Schreiber?
It's just.
Are you confused with Liv Tyler?
Tomato.
Have you combined the two people?
Liv Panettiere. Yes.
Okay, let's bring up Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, when Hayden Panettiere's character gets quizzed in order to save Rory Culkin's life.
Yeah. Rory
I like that when she's naming off the movie, like what name a horror remake, and she literally names off every single iconic horror film. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I love Scream 4, dude.
Yeah,
I really do.
Great one on Twitter from Kevin Dean. And it's just towards the end when he says all the meta and this picture, it's a GIF. And it says, "You forget the first rule of remakes: don't fuck with the original one." I love that line. That's a great line.
That's the thing. Okay, look, people talk about the ending. How let's just get into it now.
Yeah,
so
let's
it's
go
revealed
for it.
that
Yeah,
Jill's cousin, or not Jill's cousin, Sydney's cousin Jill is the killer.
Yeah,
which is cool. Very good twist.
Very predictable though.
A lot of people online are saying it should have ended at the house. With
and Sydney actually
getting killed.
dying?
Yeah, dying,
Okay,
and then Jill getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like how it goes back to the hotel, but that being said, I like the line that Sydney
goes back to the hospital.
Yeah, sorry, I said hotel. Sorry,
Yeah.
hospital. When Sydney says "Don't fuck with the original," I love that.
That's
so much.
what solidifies this as a really great ending. Because you don't fuck with the original one, and that's the whole point of this film is not to obviously it's there to make money, but it's not there to just rehash everything that's happened before, but to elevate it at least to a certain extent. At least it has a little bit more originality than the third one does, or at least creativity as far as that goes. And let's see.
I didn't necessarily buy that that Jill and the movie geek were the killers just because they're really tiny and skinny.
Yeah, especially when Jill is actually wearing the Ghostface uniform.
Yeah,
you can tell okay, this isn't the stuntman. This is actually her. Well, the thing is, it's very predictable that Jill was the killer because aside from the first movie of it being Billy and Stu, it's like. From 2, 3, and then 4, it's all family members. It's some kind of family member related to somebody.
That's true.
And so it was almost like, well, who the hell else could it be? It's not going to be the deputy, or it's not going to be Dewey or freaking Courtney Cox.
No Dewey's limp in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's just gone.
Did they ever
Disappeared.
address that at all?
No,
like in behind the scenes or anything. No one ever said
not that
anything,
I saw.
They just forget.
I think it was just like, that limp. You got over it.
Nah,
you
it's
put
been
on the
11
Bruce
years. You're good
Wayne,
to go, buddy.
put on the Bruce Wayne ankle bracelet
Yeah.
thing, and you
Kick the
heal
brick
yourself.
wall. He's
Yeah,
all
you kicked
good.
the brick
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
But I do love what they did with the video cameras in this one about filming all the death scenes
like
and how
that,
they
huh?
were they were plotting it up. Again, it's just like adding more creativity to the series because honestly they could have gone to space and it's like, okay, where else are they
That
gonna
would have
go?
been a pretty good. If anyone could do make fun of the in space thing, it would be the Scream franchise. If they got
Probably.
Scream in space, that'd be pretty
yeah,
funny. Anyway.
absolutely. Space camp, be fucking just going
Yeah.
to space. I don't know, something
Exactly.
stupid like that. I wouldn't want that.
No,
but I'm
but
just
if anyone
saying.
could,
Yeah,
it'd
it would be the
Scream.
Scream franchise.
Um,
But I do enjoy some of the characters in this one. Some of the death scenes they're like the very first, not the first death scene, but one of the first friends that is killed when they're across the neighbor, like her friend neighbor.
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah,
she's
that was kinda
killed.
brutal,
It's
yeah.
a pretty brutal scene. The whole room is just full of blood. That's really the
Yeah.
only brutal one. But I mean, you don't really care for who's being killed left and right.
Yeah, the Allison Brie kill in the parking structure really isn't that good. When he
no.
stabs her and then just throws
her
her
off
off
the
roof.
window, yeah.
That one didn't really do it for me.
Courtney Cox, she's just, Gail Weathers, she's just very naggy and whiny and
Yeah, I didn't
Cougar
like her arc
Towny.
in this. She had no reason to be upset. Okay,
No,
look, she's
she
got
was
a good
just-
life.
yeah.
She does not have to.
She's fine looking. She's just bitching and complaining in the whole movie. But yeah, I mean, the whole twist with Jill and little kid from Signs, I just it's
Forgot
okay.
that was the kid from Science.
Yeah,
That's
he was
right.
very creepy looking,
Mhm.
just like his brother.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I really do enjoy this film. It's fun if it's on.
It's a parody of the genres that
It
are
is.
now, as opposed to what it was in the 90s, you know?
Right.
Like, you got the found footage aspect when the
Mhm.
kid's walking around the house with the
Yes,
live streaming thing
Yeah.
and he gets killed.
I love that.
That was really cool.
that
I
kid
like
actually looked like Sabretooth.
He looks like me, actually. People have brought that up on Twitter.
I didn't
At least 2 people have said that kid looks like me. I'm
No,
not
'cause
lying.
that guy's
Someone
actually,
tweeted me this.
That guy's actually good looking.
Oh,
Hey
you
now,
what, man?
Hey now.
Okay.
But yeah. So I think I watched all 4 of these movies. I think if you watch them all 4 back to back to back, it was a sick day and I watched all 4.
You watched
of them.
all 4 in
all
one day?
4 in one day.
Wow.
Fun time.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the series deteriorates as you go along, but it's really fun, kind of connecting everything together. They do a really good job, at least connecting characters and arcs together as a whole franchise. Scream 5, would you want it?
I would. I don't think it's really going to happen.
I don't think it'll
unless
happen.
Maybe 10 years from now or something like that. If they
And,
have a new
like-
genre to make fun of.
And
but
remaking it is just
No.
demolishing the
No.
whole fucking point
Don't
of the
you
free.
dare
Like
remake it, Hollywood.
that would just destroy it. That would destroy the movie because that's the whole point, of not doing something. It's the whole point of the first movie was just originality, and if you remake it, I don't know.
Don't do it.
But if they did remake it, who would you see them direct? Like, who would you see? Like, obviously, maybe like like some random ass director. But if you could have someone direct it,
if you could find someone with the comedy of like Lord and Miller, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Who
I
has
can't
a
see them
horror
doing a horror
background.
film.
I'm just saying like someone with their
or Drew
comedy.
Goddard.
Drew Goddard would be
do.
good.
Drew
That'd
Goddard
be a
would be
good
pretty
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
Or if he just did Scream 5. I mean, Wes Craven. I mean, he hasn't done necessarily like Scream 4 was the last thing he did, right? I want to say, or did he do The Ward? Was that John Carpenter? I always get them mixed up.
I don't think that was Wes Craven.
He hasn't really done too much. He did that fucking awful.
Oh yeah, hold on.
It's like something like the 8 Friends. And
I'm gonna look for this.
Please,
I remember
like
that.
When You Wake or Sleep. That movie. What was it though? It's so shitty. It's
really bad.
My Soul to Take.
That's what
My
it was.
Soul.
My
Jesus,
God.
man. Like I remember seeing the trailers. I was like, really excited for. Like, okay, maybe Wes Craven's back. He does great job of handling young characters and being killed off one by one. I don't know what the hell was going on in this
bizarre.
movie. Like, oh wow.
Ugh.
I don't know.
I
Craven,
watched
what are you
that
doing, man?
For like a half hour on TV one day, and I was like, I can't take this. This isn't remotely scary.
Bye bye. Bye-bye. But yeah, so let's hope
Let's pretend that Scream 4 was his last movie.
Yes,
just
please.
That's a good way to go out.
I mean, I would like to see him return to do something, but do something original.
He's a horror icon.
He is. Do a new I mean, he's the one who created Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Craven, if you're out there, if you're listening, I'm craving for something good. Bring us something original. I know you can do it.
Nice
yeah,
pun there,
thank
buddy.
you.
Anyway.
Appreciate that. But that pretty much wraps it up as far as our talk about the Scream franchise. I love the series overall. I'm sure as
Me
do
too.
you.
First one,
And
obviously, is the best one, but the other ones aren't too shabby.
Rank them.
1, 4, 2, 3.
Oh, well, you're going 4 over 2.
I like 4 a lot.
I'd probably go 1, 2, 4, 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice, not bad. Nice. What would you guys rank it?
Give us your rankings below.
Tweet at us at Cobbster15 and at the Real Cody Hall # at HorrorFlix and tell us your ranking of the Scream franchise. I would love to know that. But we don't have Netflix. We don't have Netflix recommendation for this week. Actually, you know what? Schmozno.com. Check out our writer. Our writer, like I fucking own her.
Like we have her.
Yeah, we have her in chains right now. Write that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and check out schmozno.com every single week. Stacey Howard, one of the writers on that website, does Netflix recommendation. She gave us a nice little shout out on there, and she recommended some pretty killer. You might see one of those movies we were talking about today on that list, as well as my favorite horror film of 2014, which was The Babadook, is up there now. So I'll put a link for that. If you're listening on Schmoes No Podcast channel, I'll put a link for that down below in the description box. But
shall we reveal?
We got someone to give a special prize to. So like I stated before, at the very start of this podcast, we are giving away a Blu-ray copy of The Babadook.
Basically, what we had you guys do is look, help us out, comment on iTunes.
Yes.
Best comment gets the Blu-ray.
But best comment gets the Blu-ray. Yeah. And let me just say this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ratings don't create psychopaths. Psychopaths make ratings more creative.
Okay,
I don't know.
You had that going for a second,
it was close. It was somewhere in there. It was a
great
great line in the movie. But yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, honestly, you guys are the best. I'm so happy that you guys went out there and went out of your way. There were so many really great comments. I was very flattered.
If we had a bunch of Babadook,
I would hand them out. And trust me, we'll do this probably, I would say maybe like once a month.
Yeah.
We won't necessarily do iTunes because I know everybody out there doesn't have iTunes.
Yeah.
But we will do something on Schmoes Podcast channel. We'll do something on our Facebook page, so be sure to check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/HorrorFlix. So Cody, give us the winner, my friend.
We have right here. Let me read this.
The winner of the Babadook Blu-ray is
Crimebuster 99.
Crimebuster 99. This guy or gal, I'm not really sure if it's a guy or gal, literally wrote like a whole story of you on a phone call conversation with like a killer, and he left us some really nice words.
Basically, what he did was he put the entire opening scene from the first Scream, substituted me, put Cobbster language in there. It was incredible. It was great.
It was really, really great. It was very creative, and he said some really, or she said some really nice words about us. So thank you so much. Be sure, Crimebuster99. If that is you out there, please message us. Message
both of us.
No. Well, okay. Here's what you do. Go to facebook.com/HorrorFlix and then shoot us a message there. Yeah. Give us your address and stuff, and we'll send Cody, not the Blu-ray.
I will
Yeah.
stand there. We'll give high fives.
And if for some reason you don't have a Blu-ray player, we'll work it out. I'll get you the DVD. I'll hook you up. Don't worry about it, pal.
Yep.
So that about wraps it up.
Fun episode.
For this. This is really, really fun. I was genuinely excited all day to talk about this. Not
I know
so
the
much.
fans were too.
Yes, and I'm very happy that everyone's really excited about this. I'm very happy that everyone out there is supporting the show, keeping it alive. We're at 44 today on the iTunes chart, TV and film, which is maybe not much for a lot of people out there, but I'll fucking take it.
For us,
I'll
we're
take it.
What, 5 or 6 episodes in? This is
episode
awesome.
6. Yeah, episode 6. So Cody, please tell the good people where they can find you on all social media platforms.
You all can find me on Twitter at The Real Cody Hall. I've recently had a lot of Instagram requests. I am at that one dude Cody on Instagram.
There you go.
That's I should probably change it to Real Cody
You
Hall.
probably
keep it the
should.
same,
It's
but
okay.
Whatever.
It's okay.
You can always find me on the Schmoes every Thursday. I'm occasionally let me talk on the mic. Yeah. Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Cobbster15. On Instagram, I'm at Cobbster with 2 R's at the end of it. Obviously, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/HorrorFlix. Don't add me on my personal account. That's okay. If you do, I'll add you anyways, if you know my real name. And I'm trying to think what else we got to plug. Obviously, Schmoes No Podcast channel. Subscribe to that. The iTunes feed. CrimeBuster99. Be sure to Be sure to actually message us. Don't forget. I hope you're listening to this and tell me your real identity. I hope it's not you and not some imposter. Obviously, iTunes. Subscribe to the feed. Give us a nice little review and rate us. And yeah, I think that's gonna be wrapping it up. Let's. How are we gonna send this one off?
But wait. There's more. Not really. That's
You weren't going to try it?
But wait, there's more. Hold back on your sheet, baby, because this one's gonna be a screamer.